sa
Excuse me, Senator Risa.
DPWH. Yes, Mr. Chair.
We can now excuse Secretary Remulla unless there are members who wish to ask questions.
One only.
I'm sorry, Secretary, you cannot leave yet. Thank you. Please continue, Senator Risa.
Secretary Boying, merong legal proposition kanina si Senator Ontiveros to which you agreed. What was it? What did you agree on?
I have. Please refresh my memory. I would like to hear it again so that we can have the good gentleman.
If I may, Mr. Chair, on state witness discharge and restitution. While restitution is not a statutory prerequisite for discharge under Rule 119 or admission under RA 6981, it is sound prosecutorial practice to require it as a condition for recommending state witness status. Technically, once an accused is discharged and acquitted by operation of law, both criminal and implied civil liability in the case are extinguished, leaving the state to pursue separate civil or forfeiture actions that are cumbersome, protracted, and often ineffective. By conditioning discharge on restitution or turnover of ill-gotten assets, prosecutors safeguard the public interest, obviate the need for parallel recovery proceedings, and balance the grant of immunity with accountability. This practice ensures that while the state secures indispensable testimony, it likewise secures tangible recovery for both government and the offended parties. Mr. Chair.
To which you agreed on, Secretary Boying.
Yes, sir.
What did you agree then?
Sir,
that it is no longer...
Even though it is not found in the specific provision of the law of the Witness Protection Program, of course, there are provisions that touch upon it somehow. It is really incumbent upon us to recover as much as possible for the government in this case. And coming up with solutions such as this, asking them for restitution from the very beginning, would save us a lot of time unless we wanted to wait till the end of any litigation, which can take years before the government gets something. So that is, sir, I think that is a sound practice, sir.
How will you do that? For example, in the case of the Discayas, how much are you going to ask them to restitute?
Sir, we will need a forensic accountant to look at all their contracts, to be able to look at what was illegally acquired, so that we can ask them to return what we believe is illegally acquired.
Considering that the law is very explicit about this, that in applying for witness protection, restitution is not there, because restitution will come in only after the case has been resolved by the court. Only the court can determine how much should be restituted to the government. Because, as I have said, the civil liability is impliedly restituted in the criminal prosecution. So, ma-abuse mo ang discretion mo dyan, sapagkat hindi natin madidetermine. There can be abuse there. No? It's either excess or lack of jurisdiction. Let the law process take its course. Hindi yung babaligtarin po ninyo ang nilalaman ng batas. Mawawala po tayo. That is the only one that I would like to make clear to everybody, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Yes. We have 3 minutes because we have to suspend at 3:20 because we have to refer to the lounge to accommodate the BIR for an executive session. So we're having our session at 4 o'clock. Anyway, we'll have all the time on Thursday because when I suspend at 3:20, we'll have to come back here on Thursday at 9 o'clock and we'll have the whole day to discuss all these things. So, Senator Risa, he wants to interject. Senator Padilla.
Opo, Mr.
All right,
Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Opo, salamat po kasi kanina po nagbigay na ako kasi aalis po sila eh. Opo, magtatanong lang po ako. Opo.
You have
Sorry, Mr. Chair and
hanggang
good
3:20.
Senator. Akala ko interjection dun sa line of questioning ko kasi meron po akong
hindi
tanong
follow-up.
tungkol sa Quezon City.
Sa Thursday ka na lang kasamang Robin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, A couple of days ago, in the last hearing when you were here, we somehow settled the issue that restitution is not a requisite for an applicant to the WPP. Is that correct?
It's not in the law. But sa akin ko kasi, hindi lang po batas na nagdidictate dito. It's also what is morally right, what is expected of us. Yan po kasi, kahit hindi nilagay sa batas, mga given po yan sa ating lipunan.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Secretary?
Kasi wala nga sa batas yung ano.
Wala
yung,
nga sa batas.
Yung
Then, anong
requirements
ilalagay mo sa batas?
for admission to the witness protection. Ang restitution is not part of it.
Yes, it is not.
Oh, pero hindi mo nangangahulugan na hindi namin pwede i-layout yan depending on the case.
Mr. Secretary, I am still in the stage where a particular applicant wishes to apply under that program. And there is a process. In the process, restitution is not one of the requisites. Is that correct?
Opo, pero if it's in
Teka
terms of
muna,
this
teka
case
muna.
being a financial crime, sir, this is a crime against the
Mr. Secretary.
financial status of the Filipino people, of the Philippine Republic. I think that it's just right.
Mr.
that we ask.
Secretary, are you amending the provision of the
No,
law?
sir. No, sir. But that is how we run the witness protection program.
As a lawyer, Mr. Secretary, may I ask you, in a criminal prosecution, the civil liability is impliedly instituted. Is that correct?
Of course.
Kaya nga eh. Hindi naman nangangahulugan kung sakasakali na natapos na yung criminal prosecution. Kapag ka nakita na mayroong criminal liability yung tao, because it is impliedly implied, doon lang magkakaroon ng restitution. It will come after. Paano mo sasabihin na magre-restitute ang isang tao? Meron na bang findings kung magkano i-restitute on how it can be restituted? Nag-a-apply pa lang eh. Huwag po ninyong babaguhin ang requisite ng batas, Mr. Secretary. I thought nung dumating ka dito, nagkaintindihan na tayo eh. Kaya nabablar ang proceedings natin eh. Kaya nga kinote ni, siguro, ang chairman kanina gusto kong ituloy ito. Sinabi niya, nagpa-interview siya, na goodwill and sincerity should be done para itest. Pwede ba yung ganito?
I respect your opinion, sir. But
It
that's
is not
how,
my opinion, it is in the law, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I am
At
operating.
the arbiter
Sir,
is
can I
the
speak,
law.
sir? May I speak, sir?
Yes, you
I'm
are
operating from the
Senator
from
Marcoleta,
from the
kindly allow
vantage
the
point of the
resource
reason
person.
behind the law, sir. What is the reason behind the law? So that we can get justice, and justice can only be attained if there is restitution. So that is the principle behind all of these things that we are talking about now.
Mr. Secretary, restitution will come after. It cannot be.
Sir, it can
cannot
come before or after, sir. It can come before or
You
after.
cite the law that it come before. Wala nga po sa batas eh.
Sir,
Huwag po ninyong babaguhin ang batas, Mr. Secretary.
we are operating on a unique set of facts, and we are all of these matters are being evaluated because the gravity of this financial crime cannot be underestimated, and that the more assets that we're able to preserve at the outset, the better for our country, sir.
Mr. Secretary, I'm very sorry for such a reasoning like that. Alam mo, nakikinig
I'm very
ang
sorry,
buong
sir.
bansa.
Also, sir, I'm very sorry too if you do not agree with me. But I respect your opinion, sir, and we will carry out our job as we deem fit, as we see.
Mr. Chair, I
that
said
the
I
country
am not
needs.
expressing an opinion here. I am articulating the provision of law. You do not change the provision of law, Mr. Secretary. You may be disbarred from doing this.
Then it's your opinion, sir. It's your option, sir.
Sinabi ko na nga, hindi ko opinion dito. I am
Then it's your option,
articulating
sir.
the provision of
It
law.
is what you wish to happen. That you may proceed
Ikaw ang
with what you
nagbibigay
wish.
ng opinion, nilalagay mo yung restitution to test the goodwill of a possible applicant. It is not in the law. Unless you are able to point out the provision of law that it come before. Hindi ganun eh. Sabi mo na nga, and we admitted, impliedly instituted ang civil liability, but this will come eventually after the court has pronounced kung magkano ang ibabalik niya, kung meron man. Not before. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair,
Yes, Senator
with
Marcoleta.
your permission. Secretary, pag preparation ng budget, meron na kayong mga ceilings, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tapos meron kayong tinatawag na allocable.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yun yung insertion. How much percent is that?
The allocable to each member of Congress, Your Honor.
Maybe Yusek Kati can answer that since he is in the planning service. Pangkaraniwan sa experience mo, Yusek Kati, yung allocable, para hindi nagalawin nga yung inyong mga provisional estimates doon. Mga magkano yun? Ilan ang porsyento niya pag tutuusin mo? Yusek Kati.
Allocable for the legislative allocable for House and the Senate, approximately 50% of the budget ceiling.
Okay, that will be how much? Do you have a range?
Kung 900 po yung ceiling namin per NEP,
Okay.
around half of it.
Magkano nga yun? Mga 450?
Opo.
Okay, 450 billion. And then, Mr. Chair, papasok yung sinasabi niyong leadership. Leadership. So itong 450, 50% siya. No? Leadership fund, mga ilang porsyento yon
Kasama na po yun.
sa 450? Okay. Pagkatapos, Mr. Chair, bakit po ang DPWH ay nagsasubmit ng unprogrammed funds sa DBM, hindi nyo naman budget yon?
Your Honor, as far as I can recall, the unprogrammed funds emanates from the House of Representatives.
Hindi nga po eh. Kayo ang nagsasubmit, kayo ang gumagawa ng budget, pero hindi nakalagay sa DPWH, pero napupunta sa DBM. Siguro DBM ang sumagot. Di ba yun ang program fund sa inyo?
Mr. Chair, as to the projects of DPWH, wala pong napupunta sa program once we submit the budget to Congress.
Eh
What we
kanino
have-
napupunta yung unprogramming? Kaya nga hinahanap natin. Alam po ninyo, ang tinutumbok namin dito, yung sistema kasi.
Yeah.
While we are also looking into the micro details of all this, ang pinaka-importante rito, tumbukin natin yung sistema. Bakit po nagkakaroon ng program? Kasi nabobloat po yung mga ilang porsyento yun, Yusek Kati, kung kukwentahin mo yung program.
Parang ang total po for 2 years is around less than 200 ang total.
Let's take yung 2025 muna. So para maidagdag natin sa 450
Sir, wala
in-estimate mo
pong
kanina.
program ng 2025.
Mga ilan po?
Wala pong 2025 na na-release ang program.
So in the last 2 years, ilan yun?
Less than 200, I remember.
So 150 palagay mo?
Ang ganun po.
Okay, 150. So dito lamang 600 billion na to. Ito pa, Mr. Chair. Pagkatapos na magawa yung GAA, there's a difference between DNEP and the GAA. Ito yung malaki. What do you call that? Ito yung, minsan lalagyan po ninyo ng note na for later release. Tama? O yung for later release ng 2025, magkano yon?
The amount for later release, actually, Your Honor, these are the new items that are included in the General Appropriations Act.
Yes, sir. Magkano po yun?
It's amount to 410 billion.
Okay, 400.
410 billion.
So ito lang po 1 trillion po eh. Mr. Chair, 2025, biglang lumobo ng 1 trillion ng budget. Hindi man kailangan yun eh. Allocable, leadership, and program, pagkatapos FLR. This is the difference between the NEP and the GAA. 1 trillion pesos. Kumbaga sa tao, Mr. Chair, cholesterol ito eh. Taba. Ngayon, kung hindi mo ititreat ito, mamamatay yung tao eh. Kagaya nangyari, malapit nang mamatay ang ekonomiya natin dahil sa nangyari ito. Kaya dapat natin i-correct ang system. Dito lamang po, easily, 1 trillion. Yun pong hinahanap natin dito, yung pinaka-proponents ng lahat ng ito, kung paano napunta lahat dito, yung excess na taba ng ating budget na hindi natin kailangan. Kasi po, Mr. Chair, nagkautang-utang na nga po tayo. Sa ngayon, 17 trillion pesos na utang lang natin. Samantalang dito po, naglalagay po tayo ng hindi kailangan na pera para po lustayin lamang ng mga taong nagbibigay ng testimony ngayon. Kung meron po sana akong time, I will take
Mr. Chair,
advantage.
Mr. Chair, paano bang ano dito?
Suspended
pang
mo
ilang
na yung-
rounds na ba kayo? Kasi kung in order of arrival, dapat pagkatapos debato ako eh.
Okay, so with the permission of Senator Marcoleta, we have to recognize Senator Turpo and then you can have your time again. Anyway, sinuspend muna namin yung rules kanina, kakaunti kasi kami kanina rito. So you can even...
So ang ginawa ko kasi pupunta din ako sa ibang hearings
okay,
para
so you can even
makaparticipate.
consume 10 minutes actually.
Thank you, Mr.
Please
Chair.
go ahead. And 2 p.m., Your Honor.
Kasi kaya importante po ang aking itatanong sana sapagkat kaninang tinatanong ko siya, pinipilit niya yung opinion niya na kinakailangan talaga magsoli yung mga diskaya para tanggapin niya yung aplikasyon. Wala naman po talaga sa batas yun. Ipipilit ba ang opinion ng isang undersecretary o isang secretary ng Department of Justice samantalang maliwanag na maliwanag po ang requisites ng batas? Itingnan mo po natin ngayon, Mr. Chair, ang dilemma nitong dalawang mag-asawang ito. Narinig po natin ang supplemental affidavits nila. Sa aking palagay, very extensive revelation ng mga pangyayari na ating binubuksan ngayon. Ngunit dahil nga nagpahayag kayo ng opinion ninyo, ito po yung kanina pa pinipilit ko na parang na-discredit na sila kasi kung ikukumpara sila kay Bryce Hernandez, mas kapanipaniwala si Bryce Hernandez. Masasakripisyo ngayon, whatever is the quality o madidiminis ngayon ang veracity ng kanilang testimony. Ito po yung kanina pa gusto ko nang sabihin sana. Paano natin paniniwalaan sila ngayon kung nakapagpahayag na tayo ng opinion tungkol kung sino po yung dapat paniwalaan dito?
For the record, Your Honor, naniniwala ako sa kanilang mga pahayag ngayon. Alam niyo, yung credibility, relative yan eh. At one point, si Bryce Hernandez, as I also mentioned, was not credible. He started becoming credible because of new revelations. Afterwards, he may not be credible again. Relative po yan eh.
Kaya
Hindi
po.
pwedeng, wala pong cast in stone na credibility, walang cast in stone, especially in a hearing like this.
Yung pinakamaingat nga po na gagawin natin, minumungkahi ko, Mr. Chair, na huwag na po tayong magbigay ng opinion. Makikita naman po natin sa pagdaan ng in the course of our discussion kung sino talaga ang maglilinaw na makikita nating nakakatulong sa ating pagdinig. Ito lang po ang gusto kong sabihin. Pangalawa po, ang mga diskaya lamang ang unang nagbigay ng sworn affidavit nung i-float ko po yung paraan na maaaring makatulong sila ng higit sa pagtuklas natin kung sino talaga yung mga proponents. Wala namang iba eh. Sila yung nakipag-unahan. At dahil doon, naimungkahi ko nga, sapagkat yun naman ay nasa batas talaga. Nasa Section 4 po ng batas ng WPP. Kaya po namin sila kinonsider. Ngayon, kung sasabihin po ng Department of Justice na kinakailangan pa palang testingin ang kredibilidad, ang sincerity, yung goodwill, na wala naman po sa batas yun, paano po yung aplikasyon nila? So sa mga tweet, yung batas po, yung batas mismo na tinatadhana para sa mga ganitong klaseng pagkakataon, hindi po nabibigyan ng katuparan. Ang sinasabi po nila, kinakampihan ko raw ang mga diskaya. Hindi po, tuntunin natin from the beginning. I am very consistent. Ang batas po ang aking sinusunod, ang tinutuntun ko. Meron po kasing isang taong nagsabi, nag-intriga, nagpalabas ng kung anong klaseng intriga, na ako raw po, o maring hindi ako, isa raw mambabatas ang lumapit sa diskaya, humihingi raw po ng 1 billion pesos. Para po yatang nagkasundo sa 120 million na lang. Isip-isipin po ninyo, kapatid po yata yun ng ating colleague, si Ben Tulfo. So ngayon po, ang dami nagsasabi na baka ako yun. Sa akin lang po, okay lang yung magpalabas sila ng ganun eh. Basta may maniwala lang sana na mas maraming tao na hindi totoo ang sinasabi. Para sa akin, okay na po yun eh. Mr. Diskaya, meron bang pagkakataon ako nagpahaging sa iyo ng kahit ano pa?
Your Honor, wala po talaga.